have two new passions, Toastmasters and running marathons. People say, Toastmasters, running marathons, what do they have in common? So I started to think, what do they have in common? And perhaps if I could reflect on that, I could learn something more about myself. And perhaps if you reflect on your passions, what really excites you, you can sit back and discover a little bit more about yourself and what makes you get excited. Now, I looked at it in some detail, and I found out, yes, there are some things in common. I'll share a few of those with you. But it was an event that occurred 2 years ago that really solidified what they have in common and what really excites me. And I'll share that story with you also. So it may sound strange, but my career in running actually started at a Toastmasters meeting. January of 2009, I was at Taylor Ranch Toastmasters. The meeting was over, and there was a small group of members over in a corner. Tan Johnson, you met Tan, Nancy Holliday, Elsa Malloret. And they were talking as we usually do, socializing afterwards. And Tan looked over and says, Harry, over here. What's going on? You're retired. You have nothing to do on weekends. Would you like to come and join our running group? Okay, I sort of thought about running. This is interesting. I'll do that. So I went out that Saturday morning, February, joined a group called Albuquerque Fit, and found out that I had 150 people joining me, and I began my career in running. Now in Toastmasters, your very first speech is the icebreaker. That's one thing that the running had in common. Can you vision 6 a.m. in February in Albuquerque? It's still dark. It's 20 degrees and we're going to start to run. And yes, we were breaking the ice literally. And we started off easy. Run 1 minute, walk 7. Run 1 minute, walk 7. And that's all I did. And the next week I came back and did something a little bit more. Run 2 minutes, walk 6. And that's what we do in Toastmasters. We start off small and easy, and we build on the skills. The second thing is there was a plan. We have a plan in Toastmasters. 10 basic speeches, you get your basic skills, and then you move beyond. In the running, I had my basic plan. Run 3 minutes, walk 5. Eventually I built up to a 5K. And I also had the knowledge that I was going to learn by doing. You don't become a marathon runner by reading a book. You don't become a good public speaker by reading a book. Just as Mary Ann said earlier, you come up front and you practice. And you learn. And you practice some more. So there is some commonalities. But I still couldn't quite get that core. What was driving me to these two separate, widely divergent passions? And here's what happened that really illuminated for me what these two passions have in common. I mentioned I started running January of 2009, age 63. I ran a 5K in April. Got all the way, Mary Ann, 6 to 8 minutes. I'm not going to worry about time.
Take that thing down.
The 5K in April. I started training for a half marathon. Well, I have a sister back in North Carolina. Patty is not what you would call an athlete. Not even close. She's never been involved in sports or fitness or really active events. But she said, Larry, if you can do it, I can do it. So Patty said, this was the summer of 2009, I'm going to start running. Oh, I forgot to share something with you. Patty is my older sister. At age 70, she starts to run. And we shared these stories building up to her first day. August the 1st, 2009, Patty went out with her group and started running. She did the same thing I did. Run 1 minute, walk 7. Now Patty, I forgot to share with you earlier, has lived in Winston-Salem, North Carolina for over 40 years. In fact, 44 years right now. She's lived in the same neighborhood, the same house, the same friends, gone to the same church for over 40 years. So she had this good support group, but she wanted to try something new. She wanted to try running. And it was a new group and a new experience. And right after she was finished, she called me. And we talked for half an hour. All the excitement of what happened that day. Good, God, we have a lot to talk about. Well, the day went on. Patty's been married for 47 years. Jim also is not much of an athlete. Fairly good health, but he had problems with diabetes. He smoked. He was on oxygen. He wasn't on the deathbed by any means, but his health wasn't good. And this was an old style house from the 1930s in the Old South. Very narrow stairway going up to the second floor. And they'd actually put in a mechanized chairlift to take him up to the second floor. Because he's lung problems, he couldn't quite breathe. And when he went up that ramp, he's coming through a level platform, and he still had to go up 3 more steps. And that particular night, he asked Patty to help him up those 3 steps. He got up the steps, turned around, sat down in the wheelchair, wheeled himself over toward the bed, closed his eyes, and that night, Jim Stover passed away. Without warning, he just closed his eyes and died. Now, Patty had a lot of support. She called her family. I was driving up towards Santa Fe. I got the phone call. I turned around and came home. Ella and I went up to see her. The rest of the family came in. Jim's family came in. She had the support of her family. She'd lived in that same neighborhood for over 40 years. And she had everyone in the neighborhood there to support her. She'd been in the same church for over 40 years. And they were there to give her support. Jim was buried the next week. And that Saturday, she received a few phone calls from the running group. The people she's known only for 1 week. And they said, Patty, you've had a hard time. Come out with us this morning. You can do it. And they were there the next week, and the next week, and the next week. Always there to support her, to challenge her, to be there when she needed help. And later that month in October, she ran her first 5K. And that's what tied it together, because what we have in running, what we have in Toastmasters, is the people we share the experience with. The people who are there to say, you can do this. You can be better. I can help you. What can I do to help you? We have goals. So whether you're running a marathon or just starting in Toastmasters, it's not the event. It's the people. And that's what connects my passions. How about you? How about the people you surround yourself with? Are they helping you to pursue their passion or your passions? And can you help them support theirs? Thank you.